Hey everyone, Pugs here with two new reviews for y'all. Today, I'm covering Karen 2.0 and InSPONGeiac. What to say about these two episodes? I've got nothing. Actually, I don't know if I'm just especially out of ideas right now, or if these two episodes have no common threads for me to tug on, but I'm fresh out. So I guess that's your preview of today's reviews, a whole lot of nothing. Take from that what you will. And since I've got nothing, it's probably better for everyone that I move on to the part where I say, as always, thank you all for checking out today's video. And now, let's just get right into it. Karen 2.0? Nah, computer overload. Or at least, that's what I always think this episode is. And, for once my mix-up is actually a bit warranted, since there are a number of similarities between these two episodes, with Plankton replacing Karen and all that. Kinda interesting that this has happened twice now. It's kind of a specific plot. So, Karen 2.0 very explicitly delves into Plankton and Karen's marriage, at least kind of. Not the way I'd been hoping for, let's put it that way. See, because instead of this being an actually good exploration of their bond, instead what we see is Plankton being a fucking terrible husband, and this is a staple of any sort of marriage comedy before the last few years, and that's being generous, so I'm not surprised by this, but it's still disappointing. It also just isn't fun to watch literally at all, and that sucks on multiple levels because usually Plankton is a villain that I enjoy watching, but here he's just not even a pleasant dude, you know what I mean? He literally makes a replacement wife, which is already ridiculously disrespectful, but then he goes above and beyond and names that replacement Karen too. Good God. And then the worst part of it all is that this is how the episode begins. It's not even that Plankton and Karen get in a fight or something and then he does this, but the episode literally begins with Plankton casually finishing up this project and just telling Karen what he's done. Literally what? Thankfully, Karen fights back, trying to literally fry Plankton's ass, as she should, but unfortunately, Karen too is able to stop her. And as we cut to the Krusty Krab, I can see the episode's plot laid out before me. Clearly, Plankton's about to use Karen 2 to try and steal the formula, which in some ways doesn't even make that much sense given how rarely the original Karen is even part of his plots to steal the formula, but who knows, maybe that's why he made this new one. Anyway, this interaction between SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs here is pretty good because I love SpongeBob being a little weirdo who loves work so much, and the way he follows Mr. Krabs saying all of these goodbyes is funny to me. SpongeBob trips over a box outside of the chum bucket, and this box, of course, has Karen inside, and so Mr. Krabs decides to take advantage of this free technology, again showing his short-sightedness, as this could very well have been a plot from Plankton. It wasn't, but it could have been. Karen boots up and immediately starts crying, which was another funny moment as Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob freak out. And in one quick conversation amounting to Plankton ain't shit later, Karen is wearing a Krusty Krab work hat. Well, gotta say I like where this is going. And really, that's one thing that's cool about this episode, because we get to see Karen interact with some people that she doesn't normally interact with, namely SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs. Her main character status is being utilized in a satisfying way, and I like that. I also just like Karen in general, so it's always nice to see her in the first place. It's also kind of funny seeing this episode after Single Cell Anniversary, because first it's SpongeBob helping Plankton, and now it's SpongeBob helping Karen, just fixing this whole relationship. And I love how Karen is so above Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob's bullshit. I don't know how else to describe this. She's like Squidward, but with more class. The way she's completely over their nonsense is hilarious. And I also like the idea of making Karen a Krusty Krab employee because it's interesting and leads to some more nice interactions, like when she ends up hilariously snapping at the people ordering. Suddenly, Plankton and Karen too show up, and Plankton is offended by Karen working at the Krusty Krab, which is like, how dare you be mad when you literally threw Karen to the curb? I'd like to emphasize that I'm not actually angry or anything. Plankton's jerkishness is amusing in its own way. The bickering between Karen and Karen 2 here is very entertaining because fights like this always result in some great insults all around. Mr. Krabs turning the fight into an attraction is so very him as well, and I love it. And then the actual fight itself is great too, very entertaining. It ends with Plankton, or when Plankton gets hurt though, and Karen basically kills Karen 2 for hurting him, which I guess is a quick character beat about how Karen 2 doesn't really care for Plankton the way Karen does. It would have been nice for this to be explored more in the episode, but whatever. And then the ending is actually kind of wholesome, making up for Plankton's earlier appearance as a complete dick. Karen 2.0 is a good episode for the most part. I really like how Karen is portrayed here, and I like Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob's supporting roles and Karen's interactions with them. The basics of the plot for this episode are good as well, at least of Karen working at the Krusty Krab. I just feel like not enough was done with that, and then the execution of Plankton in this episode was kind of a mixed bag. He felt too much like a dick here for no actual reason, and that threw me off. But I did enjoy this one, and so all of this is why this episode is going in my great tier, where it comes in with a score of 8.3 out of 10. Coming up next, we've got an episode that I haven't thought about in literal years, InSPONGeiac. I suppose that beginning line is now a bit of a lie now, since I did think of this episode while reviewing it the first time, of course, but I decided to keep that line because I like its vibes. Speaking of vibes, this episode channels some of those uncanny and unreal vibes that Procrastination and Squidward and Clarinet Land did. Interesting how both of those episodes also featured some subconscious, revealing, trippy dream sequences, huh? And then one last thing, but the capitalization in the title of this episode always makes me chuckle a little because it's like they really, really wanted to make sure that we knew the pun. Alright, jumping right in now. First thing I gotta say is such a small thing really, but like the Krabby Patty that SpongeBob makes in this beginning part of the episode is like so weird. Like, who puts the burger on top of the toppings? That's why they're called toppings. Sorry, that shit just like jumped out to me and I couldn't let it go, but I'll move on now. So I love how InSPONGeiac continues the running joke of Mr. Krabs being weird with his money by having him in a tanning bed full of money. Like, who is coming up with this stuff? Too funny. And of course, he's gotta be a cheapskate, as he only gets out of his tanning bed full of money to tell SpongeBob that he's using too much mustard. I also think that this is an interesting setup to the episode about SpongeBob being an insomniac. It kind of reminds me of Pickles, and just like that episode, SpongeBob starts suffering from a mental block, except this time it's a mental block on sleeping. And it's honestly really interesting when you think about how this episode is kind of a look at his perfectionist psyche. Let me not go down that rabbit hole though. This episode also has so many interesting art moments. Yeah, that's what I'll call them. From SpongeBob's tired eyes in the title card, to another close-up when he's trying to get to sleep, to the fact that Squidward's house is completely missing during a shot of Conch Street. How did that last one even happen, actually? At least it shows that backgrounds aren't reused all the time, I suppose. I'm assuming it was just because of the shot composition, maybe? Didn't want to have Squidward's house in the way of having SpongeBob and Patrick's house be in a single shot together? I really have no idea. Anyway, moving on. SpongeBob goes to Patrick's house to get some help with his inability to sleep, and with Patrick's entrance to this episode comes a dread that I've grown accustomed to, as when he suddenly appears in episodes, it can be very hit or miss. But I actually liked his appearance here, so all is well. Him reading SpongeBob a bedtime story was a good role reversal for the two of them, even if it ends up with Patrick's bedtime story getting extreme in a hilarious way. Even the part where Patrick starts singing his lullaby is pretty funny, especially with how it reveals pretty much everything you need to know about his childhood. SpongeBob being completely over it is pretty funny too. I'm not even annoyed by how Patrick completely doesn't help things at all. Things start getting pretty chaotic once SpongeBob drinks the coffee and starts running. He even starts seeing things that aren't there, like a sea troll or the milk or the Mr. Krabs mustard hybrid, which pretty much shows that he's most likely asleep by this point. This whole scene reminds me of Procrastination, like, so much. We then get the reveal that he did indeed fall asleep in Gary's litter box, which is nasty, and then he goes to work in that nasty state. I wouldn't say any of this is particularly funny, but it's entertaining enough for me to watch. I don't think very much of this episode is funny, to be honest. SpongeBob starts crying tears of mustard that are the perfect size, meaning that Mr. Krabs get to capitalize on his sadness. All in a day's work for capitalism, am I right? Just kidding. Except for the part where I'm not. InSPONGeiac was alright. I think the episode's plot was mostly enjoyable, though on worse days I can easily see Mr. Krabs' behavior as kind of irritating, as you can't really control being an insomniac. Now, if SpongeBob was staying up doing something unnecessary, that would be different. Other than that, I liked what I saw in terms of the plot. I also didn't find the episode to be particularly funny, but that didn't make me dislike it either, so I'd say this episode fits best in my good tier, where it comes in with a score of 7.6 out of 10. As always, I'll be ending this video with some closing thoughts of mine. So just like the intro to this review, I don't really have much to say for these closing thoughts. I mean, I could get into the odd misogynistic nature of Karen 2.0, or I can put that conversation off with the rest of the conversations about the show's misogyny that I should maybe delve into one day. Um, but I mean, Karen is literally replaced as a person and gets back with Plankton with no problem in the end. I think that's more than enough said, if I'm being honest. I honestly probably should have lowered the rating of that episode just from the insult of that, but I kept it as is since I rarely change review scores. As for InSpongeiac, yeah, I don't know. It's a trippy episode. It's relatable when I experience those bouts of insomnia that hit every so often. And I really enjoy the trippy episodes that explore a character's subconscious. Kind of funny that it's happened 3 times now. 4 if we count doing time. But yeah, I've got very little to say, so I'm gonna go ahead and close things out here, and I'll see y'all in the next review.